This is our tracheal model. You do have the entire length of the tube, that would be trachea. Again, you see the blue, I told you that's cartilage, right? So these are the tracheal rings. This is the posterior view over on the right, so you see the trachealis muscle. The branch point of the trachea, the branch point at the bottom, it's called the carina. Carina, C-A-R-I-N-A, the carina. At the branch point, you start to see what are called bronchi. There are 3 levels of bronchi. The bronchi are the big airways in your lungs. You do have smaller airways, but I don't think y'all are responsible for them. But a characteristic of all bronchi, if you look very closely, you see how they have blue? All bronchi have cartilage. This helps keep them open. This is why you get that residual volume that I mentioned to you earlier. I use a numerical system. It's basically first branch, second branch, third branch, because it goes primary, secondary, tertiary. It's like another way of saying 1, 2, 3. If you look in the manual, you may also see main, lobar, and segmental. Those are more determined by where they're going, because each one of these airways has a location it's carrying air to. But I always teach primary, secondary, tertiary because that's what I was taught. If you want to go with the other nomenclature system, that's fine. It's acceptable, and I know what you're talking about. You do have to get the sides correct, so you have a left primary bronchus here, and a right primary bronchus on the other side. The left is usually longer. It also usually has a much narrower opening. It's not as big, and it comes off at a very sharp angle, a very acute angle. The right primary bronchus is always shorter. It opens up first, so it's the first bronchus off the carina. And it also has a much more shallow angle. It's almost vertical. This model really doesn't do it justice, but the left comes off and makes a pretty sharp angle. The right is almost like it just flows right down from the trachea. So you have your right and left primary bronchi. The secondary branches or secondary bronchi come off next. This is a right superior secondary bronchus. You have the right middle, and then behind that you have the right inferior secondary bronchus. The left side only has 2 secondary bronchi, so there's a superior secondary bronchus, and here's the inferior secondary bronchus on the left. The secondary bronchi, by definition, carry air to each lung lobe. The number of lobes corresponds to the number of secondary bronchi. The right lung has 3 lobes. Keep the R's together. R, I-G-H-T, T-H, R-E-E. Right lung, 3 lobes. That's why you have a superior, middle, and inferior secondary bronchus on the right. The left lung only has 2 lobes. No R in left, no R in 2. So the R's, the R-less words go together too. And this is why you only have a superior and an inferior secondary bronchus on the left. It's all about the lobe count. Easy enough here, the colored tips on either side, those are going to be tertiary bronchi. Tertiary bronchi carry air towards smaller units within each lobe called a lung lobule, which you'll see later. But the term segmental comes from the fact that the lobule is also known as a bronchopulmonary segment. So that segment term leads to segmental bronchus. And that should be about it for the trachea and bronchi model. Again, we've gone through tracheal rings, trachealis, carina, and all 3 levels of the bronchi. We hit the lungs next. This one looks longer than it really is because basically each lung has the same components for the most part. There are a couple of outliers, but you'll see as we talk about it.